Hello.
Oh, it's Mitch as well.
There we go, all three. Perfect.
Amazing.
So welcome Mitch and Dave along to our tasting session.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've done one with two people, let alone a father and son. So it'd be interesting. So I know slightly a little bit about yourself, Mitch. So you're a development chef for, I'm going to butcher this. Is it Heura?
That's pretty much what everyone says. It's technically Heura, but I say Era because it's much easier.
All day I've been saying I'm going to butcher this all along. So,
yeah.
And what do you do, Dave?
So I'm the easiest way to put it is I'm a consultant in the IT industry.
Cool. So, could you both give background stories behind your history, and just to go clarify
around beer or around
beer, your work history and that, especially yourself, Mitch, with your food background.
Yeah, well, mine, like as a quick kind of rundown, I kind of started getting into food when I was about 15. I was quite overweight, saw this program about free running or parkour on TV and thought, that's what I want to do. So I started eating better and then training more. And then as I kind of lost weight and found eating better made me feel better and perform better, it kind of reinforced that relationship. So over the years, I've kind of, I did a sports degree at university. I then went into sort of coaching and performing with the free running side, but the whole time food was alongside it. And the food part started taking off more than the free running. So I was doing a food blog, then I started working in a vegan restaurant. Then for the last few years, I was running my own plant-based ready meal company. And then finally, post-pandemic, when sadly we couldn't continue anymore, I then found this job with Era. It started in kind of like comms and marketing. And then because I'd obviously been a chef, they were like, well, there's this role. You get to showcase the food to different people across the UK. And it's just kind of been, well, I'll have been there a year as of next week, and it's flown by like that. But yeah, obviously food and drinks an important part. And my love of beer mainly comes through my dad, who is a very passionate craft beer fan.
And have you got any history in the hospitality trade, Dave, yourself?
No, only as a patron.
Just a love of beer.
I got into as a youngster, I started drinking in pubs and things, but it was really the last sort of 4 or 5 years when the craft beer industry started taking off that I started to take an interest. I've always been quite interested in trying different things. So when the pandemic hit and we were in lockdown, so all the pubs were shut, I started looking around to see what sources of beer I could find, and started just trying beers from different breweries or from different suppliers, and it just became a bit of a hobby throughout the lockdowns and over the last couple of years, just to see what's out there, try different ones, see which ones I like, and it just became as I say, bit of a hobby.
Cool. So I've sent you both a bottle of Brethren. Have you got any preconceived thoughts on the brand or the product itself?
I think the branding's quite interesting. It'll be interesting to taste it to see how beer-like it is, or whether it's an low alcoholic beverage. Mitch has been supplying me with some beers recently for Father's Day from breweries like Tiny Rebel, which are very much into their fruit flavored beers and strange concoctions. My typical tipple tends to be pales and IPAs, with some variants on that. But so I'm not overly keen on flavored beers, but I'm always willing to give them a chance. In fact, I had one the other day that was a real surprise. The rhubarb and custard one from Tiny Rebel was quite a revelation.
There you go. And Mitch, have you got any thoughts on what you're expecting from it?
Not really sure, to be honest. I think is it Kavar? It's an interesting concept. I know. Oh, Kavat, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's why we put on the bottle K-Watt, because it's such an unknown word. So we play along with that.
Yeah. Well, it's like error. People don't know how to say it because they're not used to it.
Yes.
But no, in terms of like, I've had kind of like toast beers before where it's from some bread, but obviously they're slightly higher alcohol. And I've had some kind of like nootropic or probiotic beers and things. So I'm kind of used to low alcohol and alcohol free. I've been having a lot more recently, trying different ones to see what I like. So yeah, I'm just quite excited to see what the flavour is like.
And let's crack it open and see what you guys think.
While we're cracking it open, tell us a little bit about the background to it and how you came about this.
So I'm a chef by trade, chef for 17 years, and then I ran my own micro bakery for 4 years, and then I watched Sunday Brunch on one Sunday, and they had an Eastern European section about food and drink from Eastern Europe, and the last one was kvass. And I was like, I've got some spare bread. I like to be different. I'll give it a go. And then I decided to give up the bread business to take on making my own kvass.
So you do this full time now?
Yes.
Very good. Interesting colour. I quite like the smell.
Are we trying?
Go for it.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
It's not a beer.
No.
But it is an interesting flavour.
So, it's a hard one because kvass is in between. It's like a kombucha, but some people say it's like a very beery, but we've sort of gone more subtle on that. But it's trying to capture. It's a hard one to describe what a kvass is. So I'm trying to use a term which people would understand more going forward.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of kombucha, and I've even had like the alcoholic kombuchas, so I can kind of see it more on those kind of lines, being that kind of hybrid. But it's definitely super light in terms of flavour, nice and fruity. Yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's got an interesting sort of almost floral background taste to it, which is actually quite pleasant. I can see this being a real good drink for a hot barbecue day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially for people who are driving, because you can have a couple of these rather than sticking with the low alcohol stuff all the time.
So have you tried many of the other low alcohol options out there?
Yeah, quite a few. there are some really good ones, and there's some pretty awful ones.
Yeah, that's a general feeling by a lot of people in there. So I do a thing called Drink Advisor. So could you, out of 5, each give a rating out of 5, please?
So for me, as a beer, if I'm rating it as a beer, it would probably be around 3.25, 3.5. I think as a refreshing summer drink, I'd probably put it up around the 4.
Yeah, okay. And Mitch?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. It smells more beery than it tastes. Like you can definitely smell like the kind of like beery notes. So I can see why it's that hybrid between a beer and a kombucha. It's like that's definitely the best kind of almost like way of getting your head around it, because it is very much like a kombucha, but it's delicious. Yeah. So again, I think similar. Like if it was rated as a beer, like 3.5. But if it was as a drink, then yeah, a good 4.
And what would your headline comment be?
I think that the real headline is, "This is really different. Try it."
And Mitch?
Go.
Yeah, no, same. It's basically like, I think if it's got like the probiotics and things like this, if you're wanting a refreshing drink on a nice hot summer's day, then why not do something that's using up, I guess, is it waste sourdough, or is it leftover bread?
Yeah, so what I do is I take sourdough from a bakery in Norfolk. So they produce hundreds of sourdoughs a day, and obviously not all sell, and sometimes they overbake one, or some don't prove as well as others, and we take all their waste and we turn it into this drink. So it gives that sustainable feel.
Yeah, 100%. I'd be like along the lines of save the planet whilst enjoying a nice drink. Like it's a nice way. Food waste, obviously a massive problem in terms of emissions and the actual what it does to the environment. So if you can use it to make something that is going to be nice and refreshing to drink, then yeah, fair play.
And then the avocado leaves give it the like aniseedy taste, and the kaffir lime leaves give it that citrusy and like floral undertones.
Yeah, definitely get the citrus floral bit. The taste is actually quite addictive.
Yeah, it's like almost like a sparkling wine. Like
I was just thinking the same thing. You could almost brand this as a wine.
This is where I've got I find it an issue, but also I find it good because it feels like the drink floats between so many sectors of the drink market. Some say it's similar to Prosecco. Some say it's like a kombucha type. Some say it's like a light beer because of the spark, the carbonation to it. So it's like I'm trying to find it as a founder where it's best fit, although as much as I would like for us to be a big sector in the UK, because in Eastern Europe it's massive. It's as big as Coca-Cola and is known to be like that low alcohol beer alternative. But over here we have no idea what it is. So it's trying to figure out where I go. I think at the start I'm gonna hook it in with beer, but then hopefully surprise people instead of disappoint them with how different it is.
Because have you got people who are sort of Prosecco white wine drinkers to try it?
I haven't yet. I'm tempted.
That might be worth a try, because it does have that kind of fruity, go for it type flavour. and it's got that kind of effervescence of a
yeah, it's very, very sparkling.
Sparkling, yeah.
Is it too sparkling for you guys?
I think I'd probably say for me that's one of the things that makes it slightly less like a beer, because sometimes beer's like lightly carbonated or not quite as bubbly. Yeah, like when I was pouring it, I could see the bubbles, and it did remind me of Prosecco. So I can imagine if you were to do bigger table bottles, that's a really good way of kind of doing it, because I could see this, if you're serving dinner with friends, then it's very easy to kind of pass around. It's kind of a nice light drink. I'm sure it goes delicious with food, especially things like curries or Thai food, because of the notes in it. But yeah, I think like that could be a really nice idea as well.
Cool. On that thing, so I understand that you ran Mitch Kitchen for 2 to 3 years, was it?
3 years, yeah.
And you spoke about in your little paragraph about the determination and brand awareness and customer loyalty. How did you attack those parts when you were running Mitch Kitchen?
For me, it was like really important to make sure people knew about what you were doing. So we were very transparent from the start of, look, here's the kitchen, here's it being built. So doing things like, if you've got your brewing process, like show people the kind of things you're doing. Obviously not giving away trade secrets, but at the same time, like inviting people in to see behind the doors. And just, yeah, being really kind of like consistent with what you're talking about and what your mission is. For us, it was very much about creating something that's healthy, convenient, healthy, and obviously good for the planet.
Cool. And how do you think I should be? I don't know if you've seen any of what I do with my brand, but how do you think I should gain more brand awareness for this product?
I think tastings are like, you want to get out and get like genuine reactions of people. So if you can do like a little tasting, like out in public, they're always really good, quick, easy things, because you get instant feedback. Sometimes people's reaction is gold in a video. And this is the kind of thing you want to get on TikTok 100%. Like just start making videos of people tasting it, or how they're using it, how they're serving it, like whatever it is. But it's just, you need to just be making lots of content and getting it in people's hands, and them trying it.
Cool. And Dave, I hear you've tried over 1,500 unique drinks from Untapped. If I'm wrong there, Mitch's fault.
That's correct.
So
yeah, that's so.
So is it Untapped is like an app, is it, or?
Yeah, it was an app that a friend introduced me to. I, as part of my job, I used to have to do quite a lot of staying over in hotels and different things. So a friend of mine and I used to go and try out some of the local hostelries and try the local beers. And he introduced me to the Untapped app to keep track of the ones that I liked and the ones I didn't.
So it's similar to, I think there's a low alcohol one called Better Without. I know, Mitch, you're on LinkedIn. The guy's called Johnny Stevens, and they do something similar where you try all different types of ones. Is it like a subscription where you get certain amount of beers throughout, or is it you just find one and then review it?
It's more like a tracker. Like imagine like TripAdvisor, but for beers. So you can be out and about, you can see a certain brewery, like craft beer places often will put up their beer menu, so you can see what they've got on offer, and then you can also track it. So I could go on and see if Dad's had this beer before, what did he think of it? Or if I'm at a pub and I see a beer, I can be like, oh, have I had that before? You can go through and check your list and be like, oh yeah, I rated that 4. I might have a pint of that. So it's quite easy to keep track. But there's low alcohol, no alcohol beers tracked on there. Like me and Dad will track pretty much everything. I'm not at his league, but he started many years ago. So,
Dave, have you got like a set things you look out for in a drink?
So for me, it's definitely flavour. I like my personal preference is for hazy IPAs and pales. That's what I happen to like. But I'll try virtually anything. I have been in recent months. I've been going through a lot of the low alcohol stuff just to try it out, see what's out there, reduce my weight, and see what other options there are around. But I'm not I don't drink spirits. I'm not a huge wine drinker. I like the occasional glass of red wine, but I do like my beers, and I like to try lots of different ones.
Mitch, you mentioned earlier about your parkour background. So
yeah,
what was interesting when we spoke last week was that you noticed that we sponsored a World Chase Tag team.
yeah.
That was a big, not a gamble, but I looked at it was I saw this sport that's underground and up and coming, like I believe myself and my brand is. So I wanted to join something very early stages. Do you think it's important to connect yourself to certain things like that at an early stage?
I think if it's done like organically, then yes, it has to be obviously the right thing. So the fact that you're kind of promoting all these kind of sustainability and things that are kind of very on trend as such with the younger generation who are doing the World Chase Tag and the environment around that. A lot of obviously people nowadays, they are drinking less, or I know a lot of people kind of even a few years younger than me that they don't drink at all out of choice. So it's kind of like having those options where it is like actually something like this is a really good alignment versus kind of like a really like high alcohol beer or like a vodka brand sponsoring World Chase Tag. You can kind of see the tie-ins with it being a healthy product and something that's kind of like it's still giving you that enjoyment, and you can have it in a social setting. Like you can finish World Chase Tag and have a couple of these and you'd still be absolutely fine to do the same again the next day. So yeah, I think it's kind of a good alignment of what your brand is and what you're kind of supporting.
And if you look around, you'll find some of the other craft breweries are also doing similar things. I know, for example, Northern Monk sponsor a number of different athletes, musicians, and artists, because it gives them that kind of giving back to the community side.
Yeah, it's definitely something I would like to continue and hopefully progress, because I feel like, one, it gives awareness, two, it realigns our values, like the sustainability side, the better for you, because these parkour people and World Chase Tag athletes, they train really hard, and all the ones I've spoken to so far, they try and avoid huge amount of alcohol. So I believe it does work well in that. Moving on, a few questions I put to a lot of people. I've got a brand new one today, which I want to test out. So is there something that this might fail or might go well? So is there something that you are bitter about currently that you hope to resolve, and how do you plan to go about it?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Mm.
Bitter about? No. Have I got things that I need to work through? Yes, plenty, but nothing that I'm bitter about. Nothing that's making me depressed or anxious. Just stuff to do.
Yeah. I'm a positive person. I always see good, even if it's problems. It's not the end of the world. So I rarely get bitter about anything. But yeah, you always find a solution. You just got to try different angles.
Cool. So we redefine the term IPA. Instead of it meaning Indian Pale Ale, we use it on the term as ideal plausible alternative. If you chose to redefine anything, what would you choose to?
After you on that one, Mitch.
Uh,
Can we redefine VAT and get rid of it?
I don't really know. Yeah, I'm not really sure on that one. Yeah, no, I haven't. Nothing comes to mind, I'm afraid.
Okay. On that thing, Dave, because you're a big beer drinker, do you think is that bothering you, me using the term IPA with a different meaning?
You you might want to think about a bit like Heura or Heura that Mitch works for, looking at redefining it. It's not a meat alternative; it's a meat successor.
Yeah,
and maybe branding with that kind of this isn't a beer. This is a beer replacement or a beer, the next generation beer. And maybe just thinking about your company, Mitch, getting involved with the Good Rebels might be an avenue that you might want to consider.
Yeah. Again, yeah, we do lots of events. Obviously, the beer's vegan, so yeah, it could be something that actually is quite an interesting proposition to do for like events and those kind of things. So yeah, it could definitely work.
but you don't think there's any problems using IPA in a different way?
I think it'll be confusing.
Yeah, you need to set some expectations that this is not a beer as you know it.
Yeah.
Mind you, having said that, there are so many different styles of beer now; it's unbelievable. So, but this is a different type of beer. It's not going to taste like a traditional IPA, and maybe that's part of the branding, not your traditional IPA.
Okay. Right. Are you both fans of brunch?
TV show or as in like Sunday brunch or
no, just brunch, like
a course.
A course brunch.
So don't normally have it, to be honest.
No?
Yeah, on a weekend occasionally. Yeah.
And so, if you did have it, what would your chosen dish be and drink?
For me, like if I was having a regular brunch, it would be obviously coffee, and then probably with pancakes. That's pretty standard.
So you more of
if
a
it was
sweet
like
drink?
Yeah, definitely for a breakfast, 100%.
For me, it's more likely to be a bacon butty and a cup of tea.
There you go. Contrasting. Same family, contrasting tastes.
Yeah. I'm not a vegan, so
yeah.
Oh, controversial. No family politics here.
No,
all good.
So what do you think our biggest USP is?
I think it's different, and you should market it on that. It is a different style of drink. It could appeal to a much broader audience than just the people who drink low alcohol beer. You should be looking at the as I said, the almost the alco pop type market. The people who want something that's bright and sparkly and refreshing, but is not high alcohol.
And Mitch?
Yeah, I'd say the same. It's you almost want it as like the drinker's alternative rather than the beer drinker's alternative. It's just like as a market as like an alcoholic refreshing beverage that can be for beer drinkers, wine drinkers, like basically anyone who wants something that's lower alcohol that still tastes delicious and then is refreshing on a nice hot day.
Cool. And that's it. Thank you.
Just out of interest, so where are you positioning this from a price point?
So currently I'm doing like a offer. So it's £25 for 12 bottles. And that's our second ever batch we're going to be doing. Normally it would be £42 for 12, which includes delivery, which is quite high, but with all the prices going up, it's where we started our price. At the moment, I want to give people the opportunity to have it for less at the moment, while we can afford to take the hit. But it is priced at 42, which is around £3.50 a bottle.
Yeah.
Is right. That how do you find our pricing?
So it depends how you're going to market it. If you're going to market it as a premium product, then you might get away with that price point. You've got to look at what else is in the market of a similar style. So for a non-alcoholic, 330ml can, I'd probably be looking at around about the £2 to £2.50 mark.
Yeah.
And that you need to be targeting that kind of profile, unless you can sell it as a premium product because of its probiotic, it's vegan, it's this, that, and the other. It really is going to depend on what's the word, Mitch? The hype you can get behind it, and the promoters you can get. So if you can get some celebrities or some people that will say, I like this, I buy this, and here's why, then those are the people you should be targeting. You need to be getting out to food shows, festivals, target some of the small festivals and have a stand or a little truck with a refrigerator in it that you can sell these off as something a bit different and get some groundswell.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I see other drinks brands, whether that's like these hard seltzers or whether that's non-alcoholic or whatever, but it's those morning shows where you get the drinks people coming on and showcasing it. There's some really good people out there now. Like you'll find them on LinkedIn. The kind of low alcohol, no alcohol sector is booming, and there's some really good spokespeople. So it's knowing who to get it in front of and get them to kind of help with this, because I think it's definitely. Yeah, the way you'll kind of hit those price points is by kind of marketing it as a more premium sparkling wine alternative that's kind of a nod to beer, but it's something that's just a bit different. So I think it's really getting all these feedbacks and kind of going, okay, what's the tie-in that everyone keeps saying? Because it is definitely, it's delicious, but it's knowing how to then market that, because it is more. I know you said it like in Eastern Europe. Is it kind of marketed as a beer, or is it just marketed as kvass, like as it's like?
It's marketed as a kvass, but they've had it for thousands of years. So it's a hard one where they're brought up with it. We do not get brought up with this one, and also it's a bit different. So their ones are very dark Coca-Cola type of color and very heavy, and I've changed it even that way there to be more subtle.
Yeah. And are you looking to bring out any different flavors or
I've got
alternative?
So all of my future flavors will be based on a bread which is surplus, a fruit, and a citrus. So
right.
Our next one will be using panettone.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Interesting.
So yeah, but that's I would see that 2023, 2024. I want to give this enough runway to showcase what we are before we start bombarding people with different flavors.
Yeah, no, I think get it out to the people who do the beer boxes, the subscriptions, like those kind of things. Get their feedback as well. The more you kind of do it, the more you'll kind of do it. Like obviously, like my glass, the Flavorly glass, like those guys have done amazingly well through their beer deliveries and subscriptions, and they've got so many different types. So again, even just being like, look, can I just have your feedback? Like, what do you think? People within that will give you honest thing. They might turn around and say that's definitely more like a sparkling wine. Give it to some sparkling wine people, they might be that's more like a beer. So it really is just showing it around to different people, getting that feedback and working the best way. But I mean, yeah, I'm a fan.
Good, thank God. I'm glad.
The other thing you might want to try is get some tie-ins with local craft breweries that have their own tap rooms.
Yeah.
There's quite a few across the country that have opened outdoor tap rooms now and do special events. And they always have guest food vendors, drinks vendors that come in and do stuff. And that's how you'll get it out there, is if you can get those guys to support you and maybe even stick you on their website or whatever. That would give you a lot more exposure.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for trying my product.
No, it's good. Well worth it.
No, I'll share it on my LinkedIn. So I'll try and send people your way. I've got a good network of no and low. So
have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.